Hey guys, Nick here, and in this tutorial we're going to talk about SUMIFS function. Let's have a look at our table and the problem definition. Here we have a table with following columns: date, city, product, channel, quantity, price, and value. Table includes historical sales transactions for the company. Write down the formula in highlighted cells here, to calculate total sales quantity per city and per channel. So in previous tutorials we had only one criteria, channel or city or something else. And for this case, we need to calculate total sales quantity per city and per channel. So we need to use two criteria ranges and two corresponding criteria. So let's stand on cell J7 and start writing the formula. Equals SUMIFS, and let's open the round bracket. Well, sum range should be quantity range because we're asked to calculate total value of sales quantity. So, well, for this case, let's use the entire column, Let's select column E. Just press on E, comma, or semicolon. Then we have criteria range 1. So we can start either by cities or by channels. So here we have criteria range 1, then comes criteria 1. After that, we have criteria range 2, and then comes criteria 2. So we can start either by cities or by channels. However, if we start by cities, for example, we need to choose in criteria range 1 the city column. Let's choose it. Let's put here comma. And in criteria 1, we should choose city. If we choose in criteria range city column and in criteria 1 channel, this will be a problem. So in criteria range 1 should be city column, in criteria 1 should be corresponding city, nothing else. Not channel column, not channel value, this value, nothing else. Only city, I7, comma. So then comes criteria range 2 and criteria 2. And as you can see, square brackets are applied to the two variables at the same time, criteria range 2 and criteria 2. So if we are using criteria range 2, it means that we should also use criteria 2. If we are not using criteria range 2, we should not also use criteria 2. That's why square brackets are applied to the two variables simultaneously. So for criteria range 2, we need to select the channel column, which is column D. Let's put here comma or semicolon. And in criteria 2, we need to specify cell reference J6. So this is channel column and this is corresponding channel. And as a result, Excel, for example, for this cell, Excel will do the following. Excel will go through column B and find all Bostons. Also, Excel will go through column D and find all B2Bs. And for the line where there is Boston and there is also B2B, for example, the first line is like this, it will gather all the quantity values for such kind of transactions where both criteria are met, and then sum up those values. So let's close the round bracket, press enter, and as a result, we have this number 891464. Before we fill the formula to the right side and down, we need to make sure that dollar signs are applied correctly. Otherwise, we will get zero values. Let's check it. If we fill the formula down, we have zeros here. And if we fill the formula to the right side, we have also zeros here. I'm going to use Control Z twice, to return the two latest operations of filling the formulas down and to the right side. And now let's make an adjustment. Let's make some of our cell references absolute. Let's double click on cell J7 and let's check what needs to be absolute. Well, column E for sure needs to be absolute. Well, as we selected the entire column and not only specific cells in that column, when filling down the formula, there will be no problem. The column is selected entirely. That's why when filling down the formula, this column cannot be pushed down because there is no other cells left. There is no place down. For filling down the formula, there will be no problem for column E. However, for filling the formula to the right side, we need to make sure that column E does not become column F, column G, and so on. That's why we need to stand between this range reference and press on F4. So dollar signs are applied to column E. Well, basically the same logic applies to columns B and D. If we do not make those columns absolute, when filling the formula to the right side, those columns will be pushed also to the right side, and incorrect values will be resulted. Yeah. So let's stand on between column B range reference and press on F4, and let's do the same for column D. Yeah. So all of the three columns have dollar signs. As for the criteria references, well, we have I7, the city, and we have J6 channel. For I7, we need to make sure, well, when filling down the formula, I7 should come also down, Boston should become Hamburg, then Rome, then Madrid, and so on. So when filling down the formula, the I7 columns should become I8, I9, and so on. That's why we do not need to have dollar sign before number 7. However, when filling the formula to the right side, we need to make sure that I column is absolute, because otherwise this, instead of Boston's, the cell reference will be pushed to the right side and it will be referenced to the cell J7 where there will be number. Yeah. And number cannot be found in city column. Yeah. So there will be no number in city column. That's why we will result in 0 values. So we need to make sure that in I7, 7 is relative and I is absolute. Yeah. So let's press on F4 3 times to apply dollar sign before I, and there is no dollar sign before number 7. Now let's continue with J6. Well, for J6, let's consider filling the formula to all directions. When filling the formula down, we need to make sure that J6 does not go down, because otherwise, instead of B2B, it will get as a cell reference cell J7, J8, and so on, and there will also be numbers. And numbers cannot be found in channel column. That's why we will get 0 values. So 6 should be for sure absolute, not to push this cell reference down. However, J, for column J, when filling the formula to the right side, this cell reference should also be pushed to the right side. So instead of B2B, we should have B2C, then retail, then wholesale. So J should become K, L, and M. Yeah, that's why we need to make sure that J is not absolute. J should be relative. So let's press on F4 2 times so that J is relative. It does not have dollar sign before it. And 6 is absolute, it has dollar sign before it. Well, that's it for the dollar signs. Let's press enter, and now we can fill the formula to the entire range. Let's at first fill the formula to the right side, and then double click on the black plus sign with all 4 cells selected. And as a result, we'll have correct values in entire table. We have the dashes in 3 cells. Let's select the J, K, L, and M columns. And for example, between columns J and K, let's get our mouse there and double click. And as a result, as you can see, the dashes disappeared, and now we can see the numbers. One more thing before we finish. So let's make sure that calculation is correct. Let's stand on cell, for example, 07 and write equals sum. Let's open the round bracket, and let's select the range J7M13 and press enter. We have 25,274,750 units. Let's do the same for quantity column. Let's stand on 08 and write equals sum. And let's select the range from E2 till the end of the table. So let's stand on E2 and use shortcut combination of Control, Shift, and down arrow. Let's close the round bracket, press enter. Excel will push us up to the beginning of our table where we wrote our formula. And as you can see, our final results, our total values are the same. So from our yellow table and the original table's quantity column, the total values are the same, which means that our calculation is correct. Well, basically that's it for this tutorial. Thanks guys for watching. If you liked solving this problem and want to have some more, check out my Udemy course with 500 Excel problems. It covers up to 100 functions, various Excel tools, building dashboards, and VBA coding. Link is in description.